make sure the African Union, the AU, rather than the EU, I won't repeat myself, the AU rather than the EU, the African Union will be ready to defend Africa.
Hi everyone, welcome on board to Helper.tv.
Why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, being dragged into this? There are a lot of diplomacy that needs to be applied to the issue in Niger Republic. I do understand that majority of these head of states or presidents in ECOWAS are afraid of the same happening in their own country too. If they are not afraid, why is it that they cannot move around freely in their country without security around them? Now, let us say they need to be secured, probably because of some policy, or someone might want to just take them out so as to, occupy their seat. Okay, let us believe so. Why did the president of Nigeria order that electricity should be cut off from Niger? Did the president of Nigeria look at the humanity aspect of it? Did he ever think that there are children in that country? Did it cross his mind that if his children were there and they're about to give birth, they would need electricity and many other things? Did he ever think about all of these things, or he bothered less about it? Why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu being dragged into this? This is the question on the lips of a lot of people. Nigeria decided to take action in this way, and Niger also decided to cut ties with Nigeria, and many other countries are also cutting ties with Nigeria. Obviously, Burkina Faso, Mali, and some of these countries that are close to each other, they are also cutting ties with Nigeria, and they are standing together in solidarity. Senegal is standing in solidarity with Niger. Why? Because many of these countries are colonies of France, and France is empty. France cannot exist without dipping its fingers in Africa. The resources in Africa is what they are living on. There is nothing happening in France apart from tourists that might come in either from China here and there and bring the Chinese yen and all of that. Nothing is happening in France. France is empty. Nothing is going on there. Should France be cut off totally from these African countries, France's economy will slowly go down.
Today, the pound of Britain is one of the strongest currencies. Why? Backed by gold. But when you go to Britain, there is no gold mine. But they've got the biggest gold reserves all over the world. Because they come take it here, they came and stole it here, and they've stored it there. And that's what makes them unique. There is no France. There is no France without Africa. The day Africa liberates itself from France, France will collapse as a country, because France, it is based on everything African. They don't have anything to offer to themselves. They keep on taking from Africa. So please, let's make sure that we plow the idea of African unity. We may not be there when Africa gets one president, but we'll be the ones who have planted that idea amongst our children, and our children will salute us forever.
Elder statesmen in the north of Nigeria said, should Bola Ahmed Tinubu declare war, military, or join ECOWAS? Of course, we know that the electricity plug has been pulled off from Niger. They are in total darkness, which is not supposed to be anyway. But the north are saying, should the government decide to go haywire, should they decide to strike, they say that will be war declared against the north of Nigeria. Yes, they say that will be war declared against north of Nigeria. We all know that the northerners have vested interest in Niger and neighboring countries like Chad. They share some culture, tradition, and even family ties. They are saying this, and one will wonder. I understand the humanity aspect of it, but then I do not understand this, taking off electricity and all of that. That is far-fetched. That is just too much. But as it is, there are constitutions to be obeyed. ECOWAS has constitution as regards coup and the action that needs to be taken. Let us listen to one of the other statesmen in the north of Nigeria. He's a professor. He's a professor of hematology. He has this to say, and he has certain capacity in government also. He has this to say about the whole thing happening in Niger and the action of ECOWAS, and particularly that of Nigeria.
Titled War on Niger Republic will be war on northern Nigeria. And in that piece, you express the same sentiments expressed by senators from those 7 states bordering Niger Republic in the northern part of Nigeria: Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Zamfara, those 7 states. And they are saying a declaration of war in Niger against Niger would put those 7 states at risk. Nigeria, of course, sharing over 1,000 square meters, 1,000 square kilometers, about 999 miles of border with Niger. But why do you think an attack on Niger, in line with ECOWAS resolution, will amount to an attack on northern Nigeria? The territories are distinct.
Right. Right. I saw the piece before we started. I am really shocked. The primary responsibility of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to Nigeria and not to ECOWAS. He answers to us. He's not even addressed Nigerians and justify what he's going to do. He's gone to the Senate to ask for approval. There's no way to declare war. It's not easy declaring war. You're sending your men and women into harm's way to go and get killed and kill. I've said it clearly from the outset of that piece I wrote. I am not into political correctness. We in the North, we are tired of wars. We have been at war for 13 years, for 14 years now with Boko Haram, since 2009, and 9 years with bandits and kidnappers. And you're bringing a fresh war to us? And we share with Niger Republic, long before the creation of these 2 entities, Niger and Nigeria, we have shared heritages in our culture, in our religion, in our languages. And we share a border over 1,000 kilometers from the northwesterly end in Kebbi to the northeasterly end in Borno. We have Zabarmas in Nigeria and Niger. We have Hausas. They are the predominant tribe in Niger, 53%. We have Fulanis. We have Kanuris. The whole of Difa region around the northeast of Nigeria, they are Kanuris. So we're going to war and killing them for what? Before any president goes to war, he comes and explains to his people, these are the reasons why I'm going to war. What are the strategic importance, economic, security, or political strategic importance of going to war? What are the self-interests of that country in going to war? The people who are going to war on their behalf, the Western world, France and the United States, they know what their interests are. Their strategic interest is not the people of Niger or Nigeria, but what is underneath the soil of Niger and Nigeria.
Prof, well, is this really about ethnic identity?
Go ahead.
Is this about ethnic identity? The president approached the Senate as stated in Section 5 of the Constitution, because the president of Nigeria cannot go to war without the approval of the National Assembly at a joint session. Or he may not he may just seek the consent of the National Defense Council and send troops on limited combat duty. But he was talking specifically about resolutions of ECOWAS. He's chairman of ECOWAS, and Nigeria is a signatory to the Constitutive Act of ECOWAS on coups and military interventions in the region.
Right. So he's sounding like he's answerable more to ECOWAS than to Nigerians. We in Nigeria, 78% of the landmass of Nigeria, 7 states and 19 states in this country are saying no to an unprovoked war with Niger. It's not ECOWAS. His primary responsibility is to Nigerians, not to ECOWAS. He's not convinced us why he should send boots to the ground in Niger Republic. And for goodness sake, where are you going to get the troops from? The Nigerian military is stretched all across, deployed all across the 36 states of this country. Where is he going to get the troops from? Is he going to pull troops from the northwest, or the northeast, or the southeast? The only place there is some leeway is the southwest. And that will be a small number of troops. And he should be very, very careful. That is what I wrote there. He's going to do the bidding of the Western world. The fight in Niger is not our fight. It is going to be a proxy war between Russia and NATO. And this is what concerns me the most. We have been surrounded by countries now where you're having this proxy war between these two countries. And we're going to do their bidding. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not even settled down. He doesn't even have his team, and he's declaring war without consulting the people, without the consent of the people.
Okay.
No, we say no to war, and we're not going to support any war.
Okay, I get your point. You had a number of recommendations, one of which is that diplomacy should be the best option. Where that diplomacy, as ECOWAS chair, President Tinubu had liaised with President Patrice Talon of Republic of Benin. He was the first person to go there. President Idris Deby of Chad was also sent there. The chief of air staff of Nigeria and former governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, and one other were also sent there. They didn't make progress. Only this week, General Abdul Salami Abubakar and the Sultan were also sent, as a delegation, as part of a delegation, to talk to the coup leaders. In fact, they were not even granted the audience. So that diplomatic option has been pursued. It has failed. Are you suggesting that if the other ECOWAS chiefs, ECOWAS presidents, now that their army chiefs have met, if they decide to go ahead, Nigeria should just pull out? How would that make us look?
No, I'm saying if they decide to go, that will be wrong decision. And if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu takes the decision as the chairman of ECOWAS to go to war, he's doing that on his own.
No, but I'm saying that it's not a unilateral decision.
No.
It's a group decision.
No. Nigeria is Nigeria. And he is governing 200 million people. We have to give him approval to do that, even if he's the chairman of ECOWAS. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is more relevant to us than being the chairman of ECOWAS. We that know are telling him things that his advisors will not tell him, that going to war, sending troops into Niger Republic will be a disaster, unprovoked. We have had our own share of military takeovers in Nigeria. Nobody sent troops to us. What of Mali? What of Guinea? What of Burkina Faso? What of that Chad? That was the place where the French president was there babysitting the current president. Nobody sent troops there. We need to be very, very careful. Is there an internal problem? And we should be able to help them. And the reason why we are saying negotiations do not help, at the very beginning, you are putting on the table the threat of violence, the threat of force, and you're asking the other party to listen to you. You have brought your last trump card at the very beginning. There's no way to do it.
Exactly. It cannot be more reiterated than this. You have brought your last card. I do not know who is in charge of ECOWAS when it comes to policies and approaches and conflict resolution and all of that. Well, the constitution is clear anyway. The constitution of ECOWAS is clear that should there be a coup, and coup is not a peaceful process. There are a lot of things that happen during a coup. So ECOWAS probably over time, of course, Nigeria had its own share, and many other countries, they know that coup plotters are not civilians most of the times. In fact, coup plotters are not civilians at all. And these are people who only believe in force. So ECOWAS probably also want to stand their ground They want to bring out their first card, and that is, look, we will be bringing in the military if you do not install. But let us look at it. Why did the military decide to hijack this? Is there any civilized or easygoing or calm or dialogue way of taking care of this? It would never have worked in Niger. There is no time that groups of people who are benefiting from the largesse, benefiting from looting, benefiting from criminal activities in any country, in any region, in any part of the world will be ready to willingly step off. It is just not possible. Just look at it. You put ants on sugar and you expect the ants to just walk away because you blow a little bit of breeze. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes a lot. You will even find some ants trying to burrow themselves deep into the sugar. No, they will never leave. That is the truth. How does this work? The EU, let us be specific, France and some of these Francophone countries have this parasitic relationship, and the only reason why they can do this is one thing. They have gone back to history. They know that certain groups of people, I don't want to say all Africans, certain groups of people in Africa, once you give them opportunity to remain in power, they only think for themselves, and that is all. Once France gave that assurance of remaining in power till when you die, those people are ready to allow France to come rape their country. As long as you can keep me in power, I'm also taking mine. And give me opportunity, give me free movement to steal and keep in your country. That's just all they want and nothing more. That is it. How can uranium, so precious, so scarce, be in your country and you're still collecting money, funds, aid from France, from the EU? What for? Why don't you sit down and discuss with France or any of the EU country? This is the percentage. This is how we want to roll. If you don't want, move somewhere else and we'll keep our own and sell to other people. It is so terrible. It's so terrible. I don't know what your thoughts are as regards to the reason why that coup that is called, they call it coup. It's more or less a revolution. As you can see, majority, 80% of the people in Niger are in support of this, if not 90 or 99. The rest that are not in support are those who benefited from what their government, the kind of criminal activities and looting that is going on there. It's terrible. It's time for those countries. In fact, those Francophone countries, they are the slowest to grab themselves off from the chains of colonialism. Neo-colonialism is going on all over. Africans, wake up, educate yourself. Educate yourself. And also the military that took over should also be very careful, because nobody wants repetition of the same thing. We've seen several of this happen in Nigeria, where military come in, they say they want to instill discipline, but they are busy disciplining the money into their own pocket, looting the country dry. Like and share this video, subscribe to this channel. See you in the next update.
I say a very big thank you to those who have taken time to subscribe to this channel. And if you're yet to subscribe, kindly tap on that subscription button and also the red bell icon so you will be notified whenever videos such as this are uploaded.